Hey guys, it's Shantae again from the Shantae Says, and I'm coming at you guys with another story time video. This story time is about the worst person I've ever met. He wasn't my roommate, he was my friend's roommate, but unfortunately, I had issues with this person. So, some backstory about myself. I'm from Northern Illinois, and I went to college originally in Southern Illinois. But then I moved back to Northern Illinois and I live in Chicago, and I decided I didn't like Southern Illinois. So I wanted to go to school in Chicago. With that being said, Northern Illinois is kind of different from the city. I'm from I'm not going to say the cornfields, but it kind of is the cornfields. It's like the suburbs of Chicago, but more cornfield-ish, if that makes any sense to anybody. So with that being said, I went to school in Southern Illinois, and then I transferred to Chicago. And at the time, I decided I was going to live downtown in the dorm area. So my first day at the school, it's a blizzard as usual, Chicagoland weather. It's cold and it's a blizzard. I'm in the elevator and I meet my best friend, who the story time is not about. Hey, we meet in the elevator and he was asking me about the bus and how can he use his bus card, because we got student bus cards, right? Him and I became super duper cool. He wasn't from the area, he was from Pennsylvania though. So him and I became really good friends and we started hanging out. He lived in a male, the way the housing was set up was it was kind of like an apartment. So I had 3 roommates and he had 3 roommates, but we all had our own room. So he had 3 male roommates. Now, this is not a big deal, but he is gay. So the 3 of his roommates were bisexual or gay. His one roommate, super cool, Hispanic dude. He was cool as hell. He was cute. His other roommate, we never saw the dude. The other person who the story time is about, we're going to call him Hippopotamus because he was huge. And I'm not even trying to be funny, but he was 6 feet. He was big, 350, almost 400 pounds. This dude was a pathological liar. He lied about everything. When I first met him, he told me he was from Indiana, which isn't far. And I was like, oh, you're from Indiana? He's like, oh, where are you from? I was like, oh, I'm from Northern Illinois. Then later he tells me he's from Chicago. I'm like, okay, are you from the south side where Indiana meets? He's like, no, I went to school in Indiana. I'm like, no, you told me you were from the south side, not Indiana. So another thing he did, this dude liked to go on gay dating sites. I'm not going to judge anybody for their lifestyle, but he was wild. He would go on gay dating sites and he would always tell us how he was a sugar baby and he was a porn star. And I'm like, who are you doing these porn star things with? Dude, look at you. Who are you doing that with? Who's paying you? Anyway, this dude was so ridiculous. Oh my God. So there was this taco place by the school, and it's one of my favorite taco places, and we go there all the time. And I would get 3 steak tacos. This dude ordered 4 steak tacos, and he asked for 18 of the little green sauces. The dude behind the counter got pissed off and was like, I'm gonna charge you. And he charged the fuck out of him. Ooh, I'm not gonna swear on YouTube. He charged him for these sauces, right? So now let's get into why he was the worst roommate ever and I was gonna fight him. I'm not a confrontational person, I promise, but I can be. This dude was always starting mess. So this whole thing started, I was hanging out at their house, and the Hispanic roommate, we're gonna call him Bill. Bill was cool as hell. Bill comes out of the room with this paper, and he's like, is he in his room? And we were like, yeah. So Bill comes out with his computer. He goes back in his room with his computer. He's like, do you know he wrote me an email? And I was like, an email? He's like, yes, an email. And he showed us the email. This dude had wrote Bill an email I don't like it when you touch my stuff. I don't like it when you don't talk to me. I don't like it. And Bill went, and Bill was like, do you need to see me? And I'm like, oh no, Bill's gonna beat him up. So Bill confronts him and he's like, why are you sending me letters when we live next door to each other? What's up? What's good? I'm like, oh no, this story sounded hilarious. So he's mad at Bill and he's like, Bill had me messed up. Bill thinks I'm a punk. I'm like, but you are a punk because you're not gonna go fight Bill. So he goes in the bathroom and he touches Bill's stuff again. He's in the bathroom, he's touching Bill's stuff, and he rearranges Bill's stuff. Now, Bill was like a neat person. So Bill comes back and Bill's like, oh, hell no. Bill goes to this dude's door again, but this time it was, and he was like, he was shook in his room and he was scared because he didn't come out. He comes out like later and Bill's waiting for him. Bill's sitting on the couch like, come out of your room because we're gonna talk. He comes out of his room and Bill goes off on him. Bill was Hispanic and Bill's accent came out. Bill got in his face and Bill was like, don't you ever touch my stuff, F you. And he goes off on him and I was just like, damn, you're gonna let Bill punk you like that? Like, Bill was small. Bill was a small dude. So he's telling me about it and he's like complaining about how Bill went off on him and yada yada. And I was like, well, you kind of deserved it though. So I'm in my room and I was writing a paper and I get a knock at the door and I open it and my roommate opened the door actually, and then she knocks on my door and it's the RA and he's like, hey, just want to check on you. I was like, for what? And he's like, oh, well, your friend told me that you were suicidal. I was like, I'm not suicidal. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, your friend sent me an email saying that you missed home. I'm like, home is like a train ride. Like, I can literally go home and be back here in 2 hours. Like, I can go home right now. Like, home is like a 30-minute train ride. So I go down to eat and Bill and my friend text me and they're like, hey, do you want to come eat with us? I was like, yeah, I'll come eat with you guys. What did I call him? Hippopotamus. I don't think that's what I called him. I think I did. Hippopotamus is sitting at the table and Hippopotamus is looking smug. And I started telling them about how the RA knocked on my door and was asking me if I was suicidal. And Hippopotamus is like, you're very inconsiderate and you're rude. So I sent him an email and I'm not gonna lie, I did go off on Hippopotamus. Like, I'm not gonna sit here, I'm not gonna lie. I cussed Hippopotamus's ass out in front of all those people. And Hippopotamus is sitting there and he's looking scared because I stood up and I told Hippopotamus, I'm gonna fuck you up. And I did threaten Hippopotamus. I'm not gonna lie, I told Hippopotamus I was gonna beat the fuck out of him. And Hippopotamus calls the police. Yes, Hippopotamus called the police. Yes, this man called the police on me. The police officer knocks on the door and I answer it. The police officer looks at me and he goes, you're the one Hippopotamus has a problem with? The police officer walks down the hallway and he's like, this girl is like 4'11". Why is he scared of her? So at that point, I'm like, okay, now I see I'm really going to have to beat Hippopotamus's ass because he tried it. Okay, he tried it. So then the next day hold on, let me back up. After that, there was this dude in the cafeteria. This is a side story. He was fine. He played basketball too for the school. He saw me getting, I'm about to fight Hippopotamus. So he gives me his number and I was going to go hang out with him. I was living my life. I was single. I didn't have any kids. So he invites me to go out with him. So I'm like, F Hippopotamus, this big ass. Like, so I get cute and I go over and I hang out with the basketball dude and his friends and I bring my friends and, we're hanging out and I met this girl. She was cool people too. And, we're hanging out and stuff. I come home in the morning and I have a letter from the school saying I have to go to this session and they want to talk to me because I threatened Hippopotamus, right? So I have to talk to this lady, and she's like, did you tell Hippopotamus you're gonna fuck him up and you're gonna beat his ass? And of course I didn't lie. I was just like, I don't remember saying that. So they're like, well, we asked people in the cafeteria and they said that you had a verbal altercation with Hippopotamus, and you did tell Hippopotamus that you were gonna beat his ass. And I said, okay, well then I did tell Hippopotamus I was gonna beat his ass, right? So they told me I had to go to anger management classes. So I went to the anger management classes, you know, because I didn't want to get kicked out. And Hippopotamus tried it again. So probably like a week or so, like not even a couple weeks later, my friend texts me and he tells me he's gonna go to jail because he's gonna beat Hippopotamus's ass. And I'm like, oh my God. So my friend is like, Hippopotamus stole his wallet and he took his money, so he's gonna beat Hippopotamus's ass. And I go over to their apartment because I'm like, no, you can't go to jail. Don't beat him up. And if you do, let me help you, because this dude almost got me kicked out because he's a punk. Do you know my friend choked Hippopotamus? My friend choked Hippopotamus up. Bill and the other dude had to come and get my friend off of Hippopotamus's big ass. And Hippopotamus is crying, and he's like, oh my God, I've been assaulted. And I'm like, someone should beat your ass. You're too damn big to be getting beat up. So, Hippopotamus was then, after that, my friend moved because he couldn't be in the same house as Hippopotamus. So Hippopotamus is going around telling all the people that me and my friend beat him up. I'm like, I didn't beat you up. Trust me, if I had beat you up, you would have known. So Hippopotamus is telling people he has cancer and all this crazy stuff. And the last time I heard from Hippopotamus, he was telling people he did lose weight. But he was telling people it was because he was walking up and down the stairs. Mind you, the school we lived at was downtown Chicago. So these are like high-rise buildings. The stairs, they have stairs, but they're like blocked in case it's a fire. We have elevators. I was so happy when I graduated from there and I got my degree and I never have to talk about that place again. But that's a story about the worst person I've ever met in my entire life. And like, honestly, I want to see Hippopotamus because I still would fight him if given the chance. But that's the story. Thank you all for watching. If you have any more story time ideas or anything you want to hear, go ahead and let me know. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Add me on my social medias. Bye, guys.